let's introduce Dr. Kathryn Walsh. But please, let's have a welcome to the stage to Michael Holynski, to Shir Agassi, and to Tony Lowe as well. Thank you very much, Dr. Kathryn.
Well, it's great to be here at this inspiring event. Following Tim Berners-Lee and some of the other great talks feels like very big shoes to fill. We've got a very talented panel here, though. We're talking about quantum technology and quantum leaps, and we have about 15 minutes to do it in. It feels like, I think the talent we have on the panel, we could unpack this for several hours and be nowhere near scratching the surface. But we're going to talk about how quantum tech will reshape the future. And I think we've been talking about quantum for some time. I think Chris in the previous session talked about BT doing work in this area 30 years ago. And yet, are we seeing it as a game changer? How close are we to those practical and scalable applications? And what's holding us back? Maybe Tony, if you'd like to kick off.
Yeah, I think we're at the dawn of what quantum's going to be able to do for us. And I suppose fittingly, everybody cares about quantum, and nobody cares about quantum, both at the same time. Nobody cares, but everyone cares about quantum because it's Mother Nature's first language. It enables us to create capabilities that, until now we can only dream of. Nobody cares about quantum because at the end of the day, the people who will use the quantum technologies have a problem, they want it solving, and they don't care that quantum is the mechanism by which it's going to be solved. You don't go to a restaurant because the chef uses a particular type of pan. You want a good meal, and that's...
Thank you. And Shir, from your perspective, what are those practical scalable applications? What's holding us back?
So at Classiq, we are developing the software for the quantum computers. So basically, we are the bridge between the enterprise and the technology, the foundations of the quantum. And I think it's already here. But we have to, as my colleague here said, we have to take it really for the practical area. And if we're talking about places like AI and cyber and chemistry, it's really going to change the world in multiple ways. But we have to understand how to close the gap between all of those. And the applications are the end level of this process. And it's here today, but we need to understand how to create it and how to make it scalable for the future to come, because the quantum computers themselves are not here yet.
Thank you. And Mike, you come from an academic centre, although you've got a close association also with Delta.g. What's your perspective on this question?
So in terms of what's holding us back, I think over the last 10, 15 years, we've seen some really, really exciting things happening in the UK. We've seen people doing things that at the time they were being told were impossible to achieve. They were feeling they might be impossible to achieve, like seeing researchers in our teams achieve things they thought were impossible has been really inspiring. And we're at a point where a lot of the science has proven it has something really useful to offer. There's more scientific work to do, but it's proven that it has something different or better that it can offer over classical technologies in some contexts. And the challenge is often about how do we make that something that's not able to be deployed in a single niche trial, but deployed at scale. And there's a mixture of research and commercial barriers to stopping us doing that. On the research side, there's a lot going on in academia, there's a lot going on in industry to address those challenges. And on the more commercial side, I think it is that we're a bit constrained in our thinking, and I'd really encourage companies to be innovating and ambitious in their business models and how they think they can exploit the technologies.
Thank you. And then coming back to Tony. So I noticed your company tagline is realising near-term customer value with quantum. Very clear. From that sort of perspective, what are the most promising real-world use cases in the next 5 years, say, and which industries will feel the impact?
Yeah. So there's lots of people talk about quantum computing, but quantum sensing actually is going to lead the way. At Delta.g, we create quantum sensors that can find things underground without breaking ground. So the total addressable market is huge. But there's other applications within biomedical, and even in quantum computing, there are people today. I spoke to the head of quantum at HSBC recently, and they've currently implemented an algorithm that is 60% better at predicting bond market prices than classical systems. So we're already feeling the benefit today. The truth of what will happen with quantum, and certainly with quantum computing, is that the future will be hybrid. Nobody will actually understand which compute platform has solved their problem, and over time, quantum will just be able to do more and more.
Yeah. And with that sort of example, maybe the financial sector, what are the barriers? Is it technical? Is it regulatory? Is it market driven? What's the barriers?
Today, I feel that it is its capability of the computers to solve those problems. But that's just getting better and better over time. So I think that's the key. Great,
thanks. And Shir, I mean, how do you see quantum shaping the way we approach problems, for example, in the crossover with AI or cybersecurity or even drug discovery? What do we need to accelerate the adoption?
So I think first, when we are talking about quantum, it's changing the paradigm of thinking, because it's not classical computers, and we need to rethink, and organizations need to rethink on the way they can solve problems, and to solve problems that they wouldn't able to solve before. It's a huge change to make, and AI, we can suddenly do larger optimizations and to solve larger problems and complex problems. And as Tony said, to create a hybrid world that is already on its way, and we can lower the cost of the energy and all of that. And of course, we can ask the chat much more complex problems about quantum, because it doesn't know to answer all the weird questions that I'm asking today. And in cyber, we can, quantum computing is, and it's everywhere. It's like the RSA breaker, the insecurity, but it's also cyber security. We can solve larger, complex problems and patch management and all of those huge cyber problems that we are not able to solve in the best way today. And of course, in chemistry, material science, drug discovery, the labs won't look like they are today. We would be able to deliver a lot of new materials and drugs that we wouldn't be able to deliver before.
So what are the key enablers that we need? What are the key partnerships? I know you've got expertise and background in funding as well. What do we need to put in place?
So I think first it's put the risk of not entering to this world. You and every huge organization and government should be in this area, and it's not cost that much to start, to do the research, to try to research what algorithms and applications are relevant, and to start to change the paradigm. And of course, to partner. No one can do this alone. We can partner as governments, as countries, as companies, as ecosystem in order to make it happen. And of course, with the industry itself, which is already very involved. You said HSBC, so they are backing us from the very beginning, and also
so
doing the deep research.
There's something about critical mass in the ecosystem that's important.
Yes,
yeah.
Of course.
And Mike, a lot of your expertise, I understand, is in quantum sensing, which is looked at as one of the more mature quantum technologies. Where are we actually seeing it currently making a difference, and how do we scale those innovations?
Thanks for the question. So I think what's really exciting is that we have several quantum sensing, quantum imaging, quantum timing devices that have shown they have new things to offer or different things to offer. We're still at the point, I'd say, where we need these to be adopted at scale for them to really make a difference to the public. And that's what we're really championing now. Let's try and pull some of those technologies through to wider adoption. Some of the most promising cases, I think one of the things that really excites me is, I have a son who's 7 years old. When we started the work, well, when he was born, we didn't have the capability of looking into the brain health of children that we have now. I think that's really, really exciting. And there are UK startups that are actively commercialising that technology, ultimately to try and enhance the capability of the NHS, more rapidly diagnose and support people. We've learned new things about the brain already through that research, and that's been enabled by quantum sensing. I think that's really exciting. But I think it's that these technologies have so many opportunities to benefit things that underpin our everyday lives in ways we don't expect. There's critical national infrastructure in the UK which we can't detect under the ground, we can't monitor in the ways that we need to, and those things, modifying those things, it has impacts across every aspect. In terms of how we get there, I think it is that we do need to, so we are a research academic hub. We're trying to address the technical barriers, and that's things like we might have a sensor that can measure while it's sat still. Can we make it so that it can measure while it's moving around? And we're doing work with the Navy to try and get some of our sensors into their platforms. But there's also that commercial side of, actually, it's quite hard sometimes for companies to generate a business case that resonates with investors because they're trying to compete with something that's already in the market. And actually, it's sometimes about thinking bigger. What can this technology enable at a wider scale? Quite often, it's not the value of the sensor and the hardware, but the value that the data has. And that data can be really transformational.
Thank you. And just reflecting on your experience of running a national programme, what do we need in national ecosystems for quantum innovation? I think in the previous session we heard about our AI talent density in the UK. Have we got a quantum talent density?
We do. We have some really big strengths in the UK, and I think, what's quite inspiring is I've been to events around the world where you see other countries presenting what they want to do in their national strategies. And a lot of them, including some of the bigger nations, will say, we've looked at what the UK's been doing. We want to do that. We want to see that kind of success. What's worked has encouraging people to get outside of their individual boxes and work together, not just between academia and industry, but people from different disciplines. We're quite people think of quantum sometimes as quite a physics-led community, but we have chemists involved, we have engineers involved, mathematicians, computer scientists. That's really, really important. We do have a skills deficit. In the UK, across all technology, there's a skills deficit, and that's true of quantum as well. And focusing on that training, not just of academic researchers, but also looking at new innovative models such as apprenticeships, that kind of thing, will be really, really important.
Thank you. I'm just very conscious of the time, and we haven't got the other 6 hours I would like to have for this panel. No. Quick fire round, in 30 seconds, what's one prediction for quantum tech's role in shaping the future, and what are we going to be surprised and excited about? Tony?
We'll be surprised by the speed at which the technology actually becomes mainstream, I feel. You always think that things are going to take longer, but they always arrive quicker.
Fantastic, thank you. Shir?
I think I will take it, as you stole my answer, that we will be surprised by the collaboration between countries and organizations and companies that it will create, because no one can do it alone.
Thank you. And Mike, last word to you.
Thank you. So it's a difficult one. I think what really inspires me is that the best and brightest people are coming and the new ideas are coming. And I think we will not know what the best examples will be. And I think for the public, they will see it in ways such as they won't be aware that quantum's there all the time, but processes just being more efficient, seeing waiting lists go down in the NHS, seeing that it costs us less money to maintain our roads, seeing that we have less outages of navigation capability. These are some of the things that I think we will see coming. Thank you.
That's a fantastic...
Success is people not noticing.
Yeah, absolutely. A very optimistic answer, but clearly some communication challenges for quantum, and its amazing benefits for society. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.